I was born into video. My father owned a videography business, and so I grew up around an entrepreneur parent who had a skill, had a talent, and went out and made a business out of it. As a kid, I would go to my dad's studio, I would see him messing with cameras and equipment and mixers and gear, and they were super cool toys. And so I developed a comfort and sort of a vocabulary that included those things from an extremely young age. I lost my father when I was 12, and that was obviously super impactful. And right at that age was when I, as a lot of kids are, trying to figure out their own self and independence. If I wanted to have, means of my own, there was a path to that, and that was working. I was in 8th grade. I was at a school dance, and I was watching the DJ work, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. It was all this equipment, and the music was loud, and it was cool. And I was like, I could totally do that. Problem is, I didn't have any of the equipment, and I definitely didn't have the money to buy all of that equipment. And so my first sort of foray into entrepreneurship was behind a lawnmower. I got a few lawn gigs in my neighborhood, and I little by little bought pieces of gear here and there and duct taped it together and made some noise. There was a DJ company in our town, so one summer I wandered in there and was like, I want to work here. And the guy was like, work here? You can't even, what are you going to do? You can't even drive. But I worked as an assistant, and I learned a lot of really super valuable production lessons, like how much time you have to leave to make sure that you're at a gig with enough time to set it up and breathe and do it right. So my mom was driving me to gigs and dropping me off, and I'd bring all my gear inside and set it up, and then she'd pick me up when the job was over. And then obviously when I got a license, I was able to take myself to these things. But it was really empowering, and it just further ingrained in me this idea that you can build your own thing. And so that's what I did through college. And then I spent some time in sales, and I said, if I'm ever going to try to have my own thing, my own business, maybe this is the time. And I left my job, and I put all of my time, effort, energy, thought, and money into trying to build a multimedia entertainment business. Differently from what my father had done, which was capture events, I got into integrating visual material with DJing and running visuals for events and nightclubs and that kind of thing. And so I went, pot committed into that, and I got this amazing rig that let me do all of these visual magic at events, and it really caught on, and it was cool, and people wanted it, and one day MTV wanted it.
If you can move like this guy, Chris Brown, so get people dancing, we've actually brought in a video DJ back there. That is Randy mixing together some incredible dance tracks. Go ahead and take it away.
So that was super, super fun and super cool. And things just kind of kept going from there. I just kept getting, more and more involved in the visual production end of the business. After a while, the solopreneur life just takes its toll. It's all of your time, all of your money, everything all the time. And I came to the realization that I would probably be a happier person if I could take all of these skills that I had and do them somewhere where somebody else was keeping a business open and running. Working in a school is certainly something that it wasn't on my bingo card when I first got into event and media production. I swear every day since then has been I felt like I'm home. I felt like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I could have never guessed this or planned it, but when it all came together, it was almost immediately clear that I had landed where I belonged. And I really wouldn't trade it for anything. I think the lesson learned is be open to all kinds of opportunities, because sometimes your best situation exists in a place that you would never think to look.